You are now entering the Dollard Hour podcast zone. Buckle up. We will be discussing an array of topics such as political, entertainment, current events, sports, and hypotheticals. We're going to take this journey together, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to learn from each other, console one another, heal one another, and grow as a community. That's right. It's the Dollard Hour. It's the Dollard Hour. Everybody get ready for the Dollard Hour. Yeah. Yeah. It's the Dollard Hour. Everybody get ready for the Dollard Hour. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right. Every week, a new episode will be dropping of the Dollard Hour podcast. Everybody, join in. This is a major situation. It's the Dollard Hour podcast. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode, actually episode 2 of the Dollard Hour with your host, JD, in the building. Today I have with me as well my honorary co-host, the boy, Musa the Don. What's going on with you, Musa the Don? How you feeling today?
I'm in the building, ready to get these topics popping.
You in the? I mean, it sounds like you got a lot on your mind that you can't wait for the people to hear. Like, what's happening?
It's been a lot going on since the last episode, so let's talk about it.
So let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? First and foremost, like, I think just yesterday it came across my feed that the Meek Mill situation is a real big situation. Free the boy Meek Mills. You know what I mean? That's a real situation going on. And I really felt like everything was moving and going in the right direction until I picked up my phone yesterday and seen that the bail hearing thing that they supposed to have granted for him just a few days prior was denied. How did that happen? You know what I mean? Musa the Don, explain that to me. I know you very, you know what I mean, educated on the inner workings of the judicial system. So could you please explain to me and the people exactly how the blunder was made of saying that, his name was put on the list to be granted a bail hearing on mistake. How does a mistake like that happen? Explain that to us.
Well, from what I'm reading, allegedly, they're saying that he was granted a bail hearing, but at the end of the day, when everything went through for him in his favor, now they're saying that it was a clerical error. You hear that, people? A clerical error. So everything went through for as a lawyer, for as him putting the paperwork through, but now allegedly, all of a sudden, now he cannot get his bail hearing, which was for the 27th, I believe. Don't quote me on that day, but I think it was for the 27th. Now he has to wait, and he has to get his another bail hearing.
But that doesn't explain how did the blunder happen. How did the blunder happen is what I'm trying to figure out here.
Well, to be honest, we'll never know how the blunder happens because when they say it's a clerical error, that means someone put the paperwork in and whoever received it did not reciprocate it correctly. So at the end of the day, we'll never know, but they can play all these kind of games and they can keep postponing things, and it's nothing that Meek Mills as a prisoner can do except rely on his mouthpiece, which is his lawyer.
Yeah, but I'm just saying when another man's life is on the line, I mean, I understand that the judicial system makes mistakes every day, and I understand that the judicial system throws young black males' lives away like they don't amount to a can of sardines every day, and yet nobody really has a voice, you know what I mean, to reach out to the people, to get anybody really to care about what's going on. So that's the one thing that I appreciate what's going on with the Meek Mill situation for, is because that he's a household name, because he's a local celebrity, because he has his fame up, you know what I mean, he's Nicki Minaj's boyfriend, and he made the song Rose Red and Diamonds Blue, and he has a strong background and following, you know what I mean. I feel like it's putting a light on a situation that's been overexposed, you know what I mean, by the government. But at the same time, this is another black man's life being played with and toyed with. Ain't nothing. Hey, listen, when you're incarcerated, and I'm pretty sure you can agree with this, Diesel. when you're incarcerated, the only thing you have is hope. I mean, do you agree with that?
I agree, 100%. That's all you have.
So when you get to messing with a man's hope, when you get to messing with, all right, it's been granted. Oh, my fault, it's not been granted. It was a blunder on the paper. Somebody wrote it in crayon, Robert Williams, but we thought it was Robert Williams the fifth, another nigga from West Oak Lane. Not you, Meek Mill, Mr. Robert. Hold the fuck up, man. Like, I just don't like that, man. It's just one thing, you know what I mean, after another, but yet there's never no fault on the state's part for making these grave mistakes. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, yeah, I just made the mistake of a lifetime, but you'll be all right. And there's nothing that can be done about it. I hate that.
You know, the sad part about it is me being a guy who's been incarcerated.
Okay, talk about it.
It's so easy to get in trouble, but it's so hard to get out. So
you sound like my mother with that with Diesel.
Hey, I'm just keeping it facts, and my mom told me the same thing, and she did not lie. And at the end of the day, once you are behind bars, you're begging and pleading to get out. But what I want to say to y'all is,
okay,
you throw rocks at the jail, but then you're banging on the door to get out. So just remember that. Stop throwing rocks at the door at the jail, so you don't have to bang on the door to get out. It's kind of an oxymoron.
It's kind of an oxymoron. Shout out to the oxymorons. Listen, I understand that, but in this particular situation, they've been holding it on this young man for a long time, man. Like, he caught this charge in, what year did he catch this charge? In 01? Something when he was 18? Some goofy 9-10 years ago. Like, I mean, and at the same time, it's not even just about him, because I know guys that got it way worse. Shout out to my baby Meatballs. You know what I mean? Hold your head high, a.k.a. Michael Lopez, you know what I mean? Supporting From the Porch to the Throne, you know what I mean? Volumes 1 through 3. You know what I mean? I watched my baby sit there and beat a case where they was trying to offer him 25 years on, beat the case, and then they come back and give him 17 years probation backup time after he beat the case. So I understand this Meek Mill thing, and I understand he ain't going to do too much time. He might do a year tops. He might be out next week for Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Who knows? But at the same time, I know I can sit here and go down a list of guys that got it 100 times worse, but at the same time didn't have a voice. You know what I mean? So therefore, we got to ride off the back of Meek Millie's, you know what I mean, on this particular situation, because it's something that's happening all around the world with young black men in this judicial system that is not set up for us to win in any shape, form, or fashion. And man, it's disgusting every time I hear another episode of the same BS.
I totally agree. Like I said, I've been incarcerated. I've been on probation. I've been violated on probation. I've been sent to a place called a VOP center, and
I heard they the worst too. I heard they the worst.
Listen, bro, you don't want to violate probation in the state that we in. You know, at the end of the day, you get violated, and the probation has your balls in his hands. Like, it's nothing you can do. So I understand Meek Mills, and I want Meek Mills to get free. But when I made that statement a little earlier, and I was saying, you know, don't get yourself in trouble, or don't rush yourself to get in trouble to, you know, and then bang on the walls to get out, is just not a good look. So we got to put ourselves in better positions. But I understand that, you know, what happened to Meek Mills was definitely unjust and was unfair. And I don't agree with the decision.
Hey, listen, man. You would have to be a cold-hearted cocksucker no matter if you like this guy's talent, artwork, what he represents. Because don't get the game fucked up. He's a bubbling idiot. He does some of the dumbest shit I've seen that, you know what I mean, a man do in his career. You know what I mean? He makes some very uncalculated, uneducated moves. You know what I mean? I'd be the first one to admit that on his behalf. But at the same time, I don't wish jail time on my worst enemy. And at the same time, they doing this. I feel like they being very spiteful and intentionally, deliberately, you know what I mean, unjust, you know what I mean, for whatever particular reason is at stake. And then it's the shame then it's a real shame because it's coming from a black judge. I mean, that's just from the same part of town that the man's from. That is sickening, man. That is truly sickening. Like, and at the same time, what all that? She's being probed by the FBI for her this, her that. they ain't doing shit to no judge for no meek fucking meal. Let's not get the game fucked up, and let's not get our panties in a fucking bunch thinking that because a false article that came out about they gonna do this and they gonna do this and the feds looking at her. When the fuck did the feds tell y'all they was looking at her? Show me a Fed on tape saying we looking at her. Who started this rumor?
Well, you know, they gotta say something, because if they don't, then it'll be like they're not doing their job, or whoever's coming at them, they'll be like they're not responding to the situation. So, and it is a fact that the judge is from his neighborhood,
Facts.
from South Philly.
Facts.
As a matter of fact, I think she's from 22nd and Fitzwater. So it's really a problem. And at the same time, I think that judge has to be, I don't think, she has to be a puppet on a string. But the bad part about it is they don't care how much money you have. You guys got to understand out there that they will show you who has the power.
See the thing that we don't understand, you know what I mean, as young black males, is that it's one thing to accumulate power. It was one thing to accumulate money. It's a whole nother to accumulate power. See, in the streets, you can accumulate money, you know what I mean, by doing whatever it is that you do, you know what I mean, and then you might be the man in your neighborhood. But at the same time, that does not stack up, count, or you know what I mean, or even equal on any shape, way, or form the power that these guys that may have less money, that may have more money, you know what I mean, whatever the case may be, but they're in a position of power because they can make you do things as a man that you feel like you shouldn't have to do. Like, say, Mom, I don't know when I'm getting out. Gianni, Jamia, Keyshawn, I don't know when they're gonna let me out of here. Like, you'll be sitting there forever not even knowing what the fuck's going on with your life. Daddy, you gonna be home by Christmas? I hope so. We just wrote the judge another letter. So that's when the display of power becomes very evident, because no matter what position you think you in your hood, they'll make your hood forget you. For real. Real quick. They'll make a nigga whole hood forget him.
Real quick.
Like, real quick.
And like he just said, to piggyback off of it, ladies and gentlemen, the whole plan is to make you
irrelevant.
I didn't have to finish the sentence.
Irrelevant.
That's why they lock you up. That's why Larry Hoover is locked up for so long.
To kill one's influence.
That's why.
Talk to us, good brother Musa.
That's why the brothers is locked.
It's all good. I mean, slow down. Talk to us.
Yeah. That's exactly why Larry Hoover's locked up.
Okay.
For the amount of time he's locked up for. That's why Big Meech is locked up for the long time. It's not about the drugs. They could care less about the drugs. They could care less about. They do care about the violence, but the drugs they could care less about, because drugs get in here.
Nas said Giuliani don't want to see a black man turn to John Gotti.
Exactly.
That's what Giuliani. That's what Nasty Nas said. I think it was Illmatic. You know what I mean? If I'm being quoted correctly.
Yeah. Once again, money, power, and respect. And once you have all those, you're dangerous.
Money, power, and respect. I heard that. Moving on to the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna jump and dance and touch on an array of subjects, titles, you know what I mean? Political, sports, entertainment. You know how we do here at the Dollar Hour. You know what I mean? With your co-host, the boy, J Daisy in the building. Absolutely. But listen, moving on. Listen, I know I've expressed on numerous different podcast situations, you know what I mean, that I'm an advocate Laker fanatic. And right now, I'm totally disappointed with this number 2 draft pick, Lonzo Ball, bus, whatever you want to call him, bum, mime, quiet little boy. Did you see this character walk off the floor while his whole team was in a skirmish, a dust-up, a fight, a misunderstanding against the Phoenix Suns the other night? Did you see this coward?
I definitely seen him, and I didn't respect it. At least you could act like you wanted to do something. He didn't even act like he wanted to do something. He didn't want to be part of that situation. And I think it's more or less of his brother just got in trouble, and whoever's in his ear, they may have said, hey, whatever you doing, whatever you gotta do, stay low key. But at the end of the day, when you're playing for a professional team, you gotta ride with the team.
I don't agree with nobody told that coward. Because everybody who knows that coward know they ain't got to tell him to be a coward.
I tried.
Yeah, I don't know why. You ain't even a Laker fan. And at the same time, you're going to sit here and make some bullshit up. You're not going to fool the listeners of the Dollar Hour with your shenanigans.
I tried.
In his eyes. I am not following that one.
No, honestly, y'all, anytime a player gets in a scuffle with the opposite opponent, you got to represent. You cannot walk away and act if you are on the court. You know, when I was said that someone was in his ear, that's usually what happens when you're in Hollywood or when you're with the powers that be. People are in your ear and they tell you don't do this and don't do that. So that's what I was basically saying. And it's another Sambo.
Listen, I was always told from my mother, where I got all my game from, you know what I mean, that if you didn't stand for something, you would fall for anything. And it looked like somebody put a banana in that young man's tailpipe because he falling for the dumbest shit. You's a fucking coward out. And at the same time, I'm not really feeling that, you know what I mean, you support or is a true representative of the purple and gold. Kobe wasn't no bitch. Eddie Jones wasn't no bitch. Shaquille O'Neal wasn't no bitch. You know what I mean? You can go on. LG Baylor wasn't no bitch. Magic Johnson wasn't no. I mean, nigga, you's a bitch, huh?
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. The bad part about it with the rat nigga D'Angelo Russell that they had on the team last year, you know what I mean? I don't even know who I would want on the team more because at the same time, I still think he would have stood up, even though he's a buster. I still think he would have stood up for his unit.
Yeah, like I said, once again, once you on a team, you got to ride with the team. I don't give a damn how many fines you get or what you get. As long as you don't get out of control, you got to ride with the team because you are part of the team. And not only is he part of the team, he's the point guard. So
he's the point guard. He's the Magic called him the face of the franchise. That's what Magic made a bad decision. Johnson called him.
And when you're the point guard, you're the general of the floor.
You should be the floor general.
Because you facilitate what's going on, so you can't bitch out. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
That's not the role you can play.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely, man. And I just listen. Listen. This is another thing that I want to point out. You know what I mean to the listening public out there. How long is Magic Johnson going to continue the charade of starting this guy? He's the face of the franchise. You're starting, but yet you're not even putting him in the game in the fourth quarter. No, you're making a great decision by not putting this man in the fourth quarter because he ain't helping you win no ball games when he's playing 38 minutes a game. You know what I mean, averaging 6 points. You know what I mean. So how long do you continue to start him? Because the minute that you either bench him or send him to the G League, you know what I mean, which is the new D League, ladies and gentlemen, for anybody that's not, you know what I mean, aware of the changes that just currently took place with the renaming of the situation. Soon as you send him to the G League, he's going, oh, he was a bust. Magic Johnson is a bad head of basketball operations. I mean, he's a point guard. He's supposed to know, you know, the attributes of a true point guard. He's supposed to know, you know what I mean, the takings, the inner workings, the mindset that you got a guy that ain't talking to his teammates, ain't talking to nobody. Man, hey, listen, I got to say one thing. This guy doesn't even cut up his own food. I watched the episode of Ball in the Family, the little YouTube, the Facebook series that they got on YouTube, and the guy lets his little girlfriend cut his food up for him. He's a whole hoe, Diesel. He's a whole hoe, man.
Well, listen, man. I think that the boy's dad has held his hand his whole life, and it's been basketball.
True.
So,
it ain't been nothing about life.
Exactly.
Or being a man.
Right. So in those situations, I don't think he even knows how to handle himself. You know, it's a difference when you've been through some things and you know how to handle yourself, but if you've never been through something, you don't know how to handle yourself in certain situations. And a man can tell you, but if somebody safeguards you from the situation, then you're lost once it comes up.
You know what? I think you made a great point. As you're watching the actions that's going on with LiAngelo, the one that was stealing in China, you watching this guy you watching the oldest son being a complete coward. You watching the dad be, you know what? And I respect and I appreciate the dad because boy, you pulled a hustle on Magic Johnson in the NBA. You talked your son into some millions of dollars he did not deserve. You talked your son into a number 2 spot in the NBA draft that he would not have gotten if it wasn't for your continuous propaganda, hype, bull S, all the above. So kudos to you. You's a hustler of hustlers. You're the best at propaganda and bullshit. You need a U.S. government job because you're better at it than Trump and his bullshit. You know what I mean? But man, I mean, oh my gosh, Diesel, like,
shout out to Daddy Ball. You played your play.
You played your play, and you definitely have use. You know what I mean? Out here in this world. But you know what, man? I was really like trying to understand the psyche of this coward. I mean, of Lonzo Ball the other day, and I was sitting back thinking, and you know how his dad was talking shit before every game. My son ain't gonna lose 2 games in a row. My son ain't gonna do this. My son only knows how to get the wins. My son's gonna make the playoffs. My son's gonna do this and this and that. To be honest, I think he applied so much pressure to his son, thinking that his son was gonna hold it. And if you notice, ever since the pressure that actually broke his son in half, you ain't heard a peep out of Big Mouth Ball.
On the last thing we heard of Big Mouth Ball is he saying that when his son got in trouble with the China thing, oh, my son did more than that, you know.
And I said to myself, wow, you got some kids on your hand, huh?
Yeah. And he sounded real silly when he said
that. That was a stupid remark, Diesel.
It's silly. So Daddy Ball, be careful with the things that come out your mouth because you're playing yourself right now. And you
playing yourself, Aki.
Yeah, and you're putting your sons up to a higher pedestal, but you're not talking right, bro. You're not talking right. So be careful what comes out your mouth before it comes out your mouth. Matter of fact, Daddy Ball, rehearse that shit.
Matter of fact, Daddy Ball, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, let's not even play. On the other things. Great game the other day between Boston and in the champions, Golden State Warriors. Hey, listen, I understand that Boston's your team. You know what I mean? We on episode 1, we definitely pointed that out. You know what I mean, to the listening public and everything, in the viewing public. But what do you feel like it means? What do you feel like that win the Boston Celtics did over the Golden State Warriors? What do you think that meant to the franchise, and what do you think that it does for their psyche moving forward?
First and foremost, I want to say congratulations to Boston Celtics for being the number 1 seed in the NBA. Y'all have a brand new team, and y'all are getting along very well. And what I want to say is, and not only do y'all have a great team, y'all are the number 2 defensive league, and I mean
the number 1. They have the number 1 defense in the NBA.
So edit that. So number
I'm
1.
Continue.
I'm talking about my team.
Right. Continue.
But number 1 defensive team in the NBA. So what I'm saying to say this to say that is to basically say that they're playing team ball. So one's on offense and the other one's on defense, and everybody's picking up where they need to pick up at. The crazy thing is, I was watching ESPN the other day, and Sharp and what's the white guy's name? Sharp and the dude to the left,
right? Skip Bayless.
Right. Sharp and Skip Bayless.
Shannon Sharp.
Right. Shannon Sharp.
FS Fox Sports.
Shout out to Shannon Sharp. I really like the way you handle yourself.
I like his Henny in his black and mild.
I love the way you handle yourself on the radio, brother. And I love the way you represent for black excellence. You don't take no shit.
He's definitely a different twist from bootlicker extraordinaire Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, because he lost his hairline a long time ago and his blackness.
You know what? I lost my hairline as well, but at the same time, you know what I mean? I'm black and I'm proud. And I ain't dancing, and I'm not dancing for the money.
You lost your hairline, but you didn't lose your blackness.
I didn't. Hey, listen.
He's tap dancing like Sammy Davis.
Throw up a peace sign and peace fine.
And that's all it is. You know. But seriously though, to sum it up is that I'm really proud of Boston because they came together They built a nice team together, and they're really playing team ball. And team ball is going to win and get them everywhere they need to go.
Yeah, shout out to Brad Stevens, man. I really think that he's the best coach.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Him and Greg Pop. I can't take nothing away from Pop.
Never.
But at the same time, Pop really ain't working with the personnel that he's actually used to working with. But man, did you see the 23-point comeback they had on OKC last night? Like, what is going on with OKC out there with Paul George and Melo? Like, they losing a lot of games. They should be winning. What's happening with them?
LeBron stated that Carmelo should have continued to be a Knick. And basically what he was saying was...
I don't agree.
I agree, because what LeBron was saying was they should have... You didn't read between the lines, brother.
Well, explain it to me then.
What LeBron was saying was they should have built a team around that superstar. That's what he was saying. He couldn't say it, but that's what he was saying.
I think LeBron James was saying that off the shrimp because him and Carmelo Anthony are very good friends.
Absolutely.
But anybody outside of that whole friend thing realize that Carmelo is not a winner. You know what I mean? I understand that he got his championship in Syracuse when he was a freshman, and he had a hell of a game. I seen the championship game. I actually followed him that year. But at the same time, he doesn't breed NBA championship DNA. What I mean is everything that he does on the court really does not inspire for winning. It does not really prompt for a franchise to become a winner. I mean, when you play ice on ball, when you play 1-on-5, when you're the worst passer, when you're the worst guy on defense, when you're the worst guy doing this and this and that, when you can have a non-caring attitude, when you wear your emotions on your sleeve, a lot of those things is really not conducive, you know what I mean, to a winning environment. And that's what LeBron hasn't kept it real with him about, in my eyes.
Only thing I can say, bro, is that I'm going to go back with what I said. I think that the Knicks are a very, very, very expiring franchise in the NBA.
Okay.
It's not a lot of inspiring franchises in the NBA. You got the Knicks, you got the Celtics, you got the Lakers,
all right,
you got the Spurs, and it's a couple other teams that are very inspiring when it comes to the get down. I mean, even the Sixers are a household name. It's just bad for the Sixers, but they haven't had a team yet. But they're getting one now.
Sixers rocking too.
They're rocking now. Yeah.
Shout out to the Sixers.
But they are an NBA. They are an NBA name. It's just that they've been sorry for the last
forever.
Since AI left, they haven't had a chance. But
before that, nigga, AI even milked it out for
he
a couple
did.
Extra years.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Since Dr. J left, since Barkley left, they really haven't had a chance. But at the end of the day,
they never had a chance with Barkley.
I love Barkley.
Everybody loved Barkley. He's a dog. He goes hard. But they never had a chance to win no damn chip with no damn Barkley.
Hey, you can say what you want to say, but I love Barkley. But I know that they did have the superstar team when they had Dr. J, Moses Malone, Bobby Jones, so forth and so on.
I mean, that's when they won their championship.
I agree.
You know, they won it in the ABA. Then they came and switched things over to the NBA. They called themselves, you know what I mean? They called themselves a win there too. But they had a team full of dogs. They were supposed to win.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think that Carmelo, they should have. I think that Carmelo would be a nice player, or he is a nice player now. But I think he could show his skills a little bit better if he was in LeBron's position, meaning that if they built a team around him. That he really never got no great players.
Okay.
You know, he never had a big three or a big four. He never did. Name them.
You know what? He didn't. But at the same time, LeBron took the same team that he had out the Knicks and brought him over the Cavs and won a chip with him. You know what I mean? So, Iman Shumpert wasn't a household name when he was playing on the Knicks when he was with Carmelo. He came over the Cavs, you see what he did. J.R. Smith came over there and revitalized his whole career. Now you are a starter on a NBA championship team, and at the same time, you are very intricate. Not intricate. You're very, I forgot the word I was looking for. He's a very major, huge part and asset of that franchise. And it's undeniable. So, Carmelo had the same guys, even though I know Carmelo ain't no LeBron James, nowhere near it. He doesn't do half the things, you know what I mean, that LeBron can do, you know what I mean, on the court, you know what I mean? But still, you had a lot of them same guys, and you didn't do nearly anything with those guys, you know, for what their potential you know what I mean, would have entailed them, you know what I mean, to do or to be.
Carmelo, step your defense up and use your height to your advantage. That's what I say.
Carmelo, you know what I mean, get yourself one more paycheck, you know what I mean, and go ahead and tell somebody, tell a GM, I want to help young players be better than the player I was, you know what I mean, and go ahead and fade out to oblivion. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? You'll never win shit, and there ain't nobody else. I'm glad OKC took the chance to see if you can win outside of New York, but you can't, and we ain't fuck what you done. Out. Whoa. Change of subject. I'm so done with that nigga. Change the whole subject.
Moving right along.
Hey, listen. Now this is my personal shit that I want to bring to the table, and I was on a cruise a few years back. I took a cruise out to the Bahamas, where they ride around in the water, and and you know, and they out there at nighttime. In the daytime, first day out there, you get to see the blue water. It's all clear. It's the beautiful thing in the world. Then at nighttime, everything turns black. You out there in the middle of the water. You wonder, you know what I mean? What was on my mind standing out there smoking a black and white? Matter of fact, I was smoking a Cohiba. I'm sitting on the deck, you know what I mean, smoking a Cohiba, sitting there saying, damn, I wonder what's really out there, you know, in this water, because like all the marine biologists and everything that exists have really never yet tapped into the full, the full life existence of mammals and animals and different things that's living out there in that water, the species, the depths, the certain levels that, you know, the divers could never reach due to, you know what I mean, you know, the density of the water and the pressure that would crush you going so low. And man, like it seemed like every time I'm on the internet, every other week they finding a new species of shark, of whale, of this, of that. And man, it's just amazing and terrifying at the same time to really wonder what the fuck is truly out there, man. What is your feel on that? He's like, when you standing out on the deck, smoking a Cohiba, with 1 to 2 buttons in your shirt, it's blowing open from the top and the bottom with the breeze on the deck and the eye. What the fuck going through your mind when you staring at that water out there? What goes through your mind and say, damn, what if I fall off the boat? Do I have a shot? It looks scary as fuck, and I can't see nothing.
I can swim my ass off, but the only thing I can think of is I got to get back on this boat because I don't know what's going on underneath there. And my little black legs, it might get eaten up by whatever's underneath of there because you can't see.
Hey, listen, the other day I just was peeping. They just found, for the first time in history, they found a large shark with a snake head and 300 teeth. And they got photographs of it, of a never seen before mammal in the water. And I said to myself, what the fuck is that? What did it mate with? What did it become? And how many more of them motherfuckers is it out there? That shit's terrifying. About 6 months before that, if you go online and Google 15,000 pound whale or shark or some shit in Indonesia, they found this 15,000. This motherfucker the size of motherfucker 2 school bus. And they had to pull him up on the crane. I know he fed the town for about 3 summers. You know what I mean? But I mean, dog, they got shit out there, man, that the man can't even explain. And when you watch these different episodes and internets and National Geographics and they try to explain, these niggas get to making shit up on what they think these animals and manimals are. And because they feel like because they do know more than we know, we supposed to really fall for anything that they tell us, knowing that they ain't got a fucking clue what's going on right in front of their eyes. How you feel about that, good brother Musa the Don?
Well, you know, I laugh about things, man, because at the end of the day, they're never going to tell us what's really going on. It's a lot of life and the depths of the seas that we'll never get to see because, like you just explained before you started the conversation, is that they don't have the manpower and the equipment to go down there because things will get crushed. You'll get crushed. Your ears will get crushed. Whatever it get, you know, they just don't have.
You won't be around next year.
Hey, Craig Mike. Shout out to Craig Mack. But nah, seriously though, you just won't be able to do it. So now that they have the technology is getting better,
right?
They're seeing more things,
right?
And as they're seeing more things, they're understanding it more,
right?
But they always had the knowledge, just like they have the knowledge of its other planets up into space. Why do you think that the government keeps going outer space? They're looking for something. It's not a coincidence. And just like they keep going underseas, they're looking for something.
Underseas? Underseas. Okay, I'm with you.
When I say...
I'm with you. Continue, good brother. I blundered with that. Continue.
They're looking...
They're looking for shit.
They're looking for shit.
But once they find it, are they going to tell us about it?
Well, they're going to tell us about it once they're able to tell us about it, once they find out what's really going on. They're not going to tell us until they figure out what's really going on, because at the end of the day, the government has a lot of secrets that they have not exposed yet. They have secrets from the 70s they haven't exposed yet.
Only thing I'm thinking about is a shark, a shark with a snake head,
6 feet long,
with 300 teeth.
300 feet, 6 feet long.
I mean,
that's
how
dangerous.
do I get away from this?
But
how do I not let this motherfucker kill me? Like,
but he remains on the depth of the sea, so we'll never see his.
Well, no. They got pictures of him, so we didn't see his hands.
But he's low. He's low to the depth of the sea.
I don't know where the fuck he is.
But
they got a clear ass picture of him.
Oh, I seen
right
his
online.
ass.
And they done counted the teeth in this motherfucker's mouth, so they got a good picture.
Oh, he was low. He was on the.
Hey, listen.
He was on the DL.
They done counted every teeth in the shark's mouth, very, very intimately.
Yeah. They also said that he was on the depth of the sea, so he was closer to the bed of the sea than he was to the top of the sea, and that's why I said, underneath the sea or whatever. But yeah, he was very low where the crustaceans is at. And a lot of times, if you see anything snake-like, they get low. Mostly snake type of fish, they want to be inside the sand or underneath the sand because they're very sneaky. That's how they move.
You know what? I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I mean? If you're concerned or aware or just, you know what I mean, or just want to be educated on what's going on out there, if it's anything that you see or that you can enlighten me or tell me about, please email the Dollard Hour at dollardhourpodcast@gmail.com, or you can always go on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter and drop a line to me, man, and educate me. Tell me about your concerns, your fears, or anything on any one of the subjects that we mention and subjects that we do not mention here on the Dollard Hour. But moving forward, I see some very disturbing. I've been seeing for the last month some very disturbing news going on in different parts of the world. You know what I mean? I think it was 3 days ago, a new article was released coming out of Libya, if I'm not concerned. Libya, correct, Diesel?
Libyan.
No, it's Libya.
Okay, Libya.
Right. About slaves being sold. They have slaves again that's being sold for $800 or 1,200 dinars. You know what I mean? Which is I think that's Liberia's money. I think Gaddafi and all them had you know what I mean, that was the money over there with Gaddafi and all them, the dinar. That's what they rock with and everything over there. But $800, they're selling slaves to farmers and for hard labor that's being done. I didn't save the article. It was another article that I read maybe about a month ago that it was another place in the world was selling slaves for $450 to $500 for farming and for hard labor as well. I understand shit that went fucked up ever since Trump got back in office, but we moving back in time like that? I mean, how do you feel about that, good brother Musa the Don?
To sell a human being for $800, and that's equivalent to $800 US.
US, yeah, US.
I want to say US. That's really sad, brother.
Did you state the fact that it was US because niggas ain't worth 800 euro? Because that would be equivalent to maybe 1,150, 1,200 in dollars as well.
Be aware of they. They will not give you nothing.
Enough of they, man. Yeah. Talk to me though. Talk to me, man.
Seriously. On a better note, and we make humor everything.
As we should. This is the
Dollar
Hour.
At the same time, it's very sad, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know about what we're talking about, please Google it.
Please Google it.
But it's 2017, and we still have slaves in Africa that are being traded but they're being traded not like the slaves back in the day.
What's the difference?
The difference is they're using terminology like farms. But farms are really plantations. They're not saying plantations, they're saying farms.
Right.
So at the end of the day,
they switched up the verbiage and got the same delivery.
Right, same delivery, because a plantation actually back in the day was a farm, because that's what the slaves was doing, picking cotton, picking cabbage or whatever the hell they had to pick. They was picking it, or picking, cleaning chickens or whatever.
So basically, they're trying to say that they're not slaves like you remember the word slaves. These niggas agreed to be sold. It's different. Is a woman a whore when she agrees to sell her body? I mean, is a woman, how can I break this down? Is a woman a slave to a man because she wants to sell her body for daddy?
I tell you this.
Hey, yo, this shit get wild, man. You got to be careful who you fuck with, who you don't fuck with. In my Pac voice.
Shout out to Pac. Listen, only thing I can say is, on a better note, these
ain't nothing good about that note.
These AKA farmers, or these AKA buyers,
hard laborers,
are really selling our brothers and our sisters for the money. And the reason why is because they don't have a voice. Just like the people on probation don't have a voice. And it's so sad, but it's a true story. And somebody needs to look into this shit, because it's 2017. It's no need for no human being to be nobody's slave, and it's no need for no human being to be pimped.
But the question is this.
What's the question?
Who can look into the affairs of what's happening in third world countries, where how they run their politics, their judicial system is really like none of our business. We can see what's going on, but
that's a lie.
I mean, how can we affect them?
Because the United States have a U.S. embassy in every city, and every state. They have a. They
cannot move. They can't just go take over everything.
I didn't say take over. I didn't say take over. I'm saying they have a U.S. embassy almost in every state.
True. Every country, every foreign country.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, country. So they can look at the unjust, and they can, somehow, because a reporter reported this news. So if the reporter got to it, it's the government definitely can get to it.
Hey, my G, we know that they painted the picture of Muammar Gaddafi being the greatest tyrant to ever walk the planet.
And that's a lie.
But I know it's a lie. But they painted the picture. Follow my verbiage. They painted the picture. But yet they didn't have anything to do with it until they felt like the American dollar was fitting to be compromised with that new currency that Gaddafi and his sons was making, that was supposed to topple the dollar, because they was going to not suggest, but they was going to make sure that all future oil commodities was traded with this new currency that was funded by Gaddafi.
Well, not only that,
so they had to knock him off and all his siblings, so they would not try to continue daddy's, daddy's thing.
Well, not only that, but not only was Omar Gaddafi trying to do the things that...
Is it Omar?
Umar.
Okay.
Umar Gaddafi.
Okay.
Not only was Umar Gaddafi trying to do the things that you just said,
right,
he was also trying to bring the United States of Africa together, which you've never heard of, or I've never heard of, because Africa is a colonized country, meaning that the French has some of it, the Spaniards have some of it, the tribes have some of it. It's all broken up. And the bad part about it is, well, I'm not going to say the bad part. The good part is that he was trying to bring irrigation to the whole country, meaning he was trying to run a pipeline of water through the whole country. And not only was he trying to do that, he was trying to bring electricity to the whole country. And not only was he trying to do that, he was definitely trying to influence his money to the country so that they did not need the United States anymore. And they knew that the United States knew that he was trying to kick them out, get them out the way, you know. And once they know that,
right,
and they know that you don't need them anymore, then they step in, because now it's a problem.
You know what, man? Well put. Well put. Well put, man. Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the viewers of the Dollar Hour podcast. You know what I mean? You know what? This is what I want to do. Like, my vision is to establish a fan base, and let's grow together, and let's become aware of all social, political, entertainment, anything that's unjust, anything that you feel like we're moving backwards instead of forward. These are topics that I would like for the Dollar Hour panel to discuss and bring light to, because I don't just want this to be another podcast where we're talking about the same thing of what happened with Cardi B and blah blah blah, or why Nicki Minaj is lying again about why she not in the video.
Yeah, all in the videos, dancing,
right? You know, all the bullshit that nobody believe a word you say. That's why they not fucking with you like that. Instead of us just discussing those, and like I said, those things are definitely entertaining to discuss. But I want to really have a educational platform commencing where we're really helping bring each other up on these different things and helping to enlighten each other, you know, with the interaction of social media. You know what I mean? That's why I want everybody to, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you know what I mean? Gmail, Dollar Hour Podcast, you know what I mean? Gmail.com. Like, listen, please reach out, give feedback so we can have further discussions, more educated discussions, more polished discussions about all these things that pique our interest. How do you feel about that, good brother?
I feel as though everything you said is correct, but I want to elaborate on one thing that I want to elaborate on a couple things you said.
Please do.
I want to reach out to the people, and I want to tell the people, please, people, start reading. Start doing your due diligence. Start educating yourself, as the brother said, because at the end of the day, if you don't pick up the book, if you don't get on your phone and read the facts, you'll never know. The gossip is just the gossip, but the facts are the facts. Make sure that when you're reading something, you research it and make sure that it's correct, and make sure that when you're talking about something, you're talking about facts. We don't want anybody to sit up here and, you know, just take our word for granted. We want y'all to listen to us and at the same time look it up and find out that, oh, you know what? These guys are really on their shit, you know? And I want you guys to be on your shit. So education is the key. And at the end of the day, if you don't research and you don't read, you won't know shit. So at the end of the day, please research and find out. It doesn't take long to read anything out your day. And I know a lot of people don't have time and people don't have patience, but take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half an hour out your day and research. That's all you got to do. And then do your due diligence on your research. That's it, man.
Then do your due diligence on your research.